So kind of that early influence, what you spoke about, and then moving to the different areas, and somehow coincidentally you meet people or you go to places, and so that link with Unity, as you say, in the background but becoming more prominent.
Yes.
Until you've decided that, okay,
Yes.
this is for me, I'm going to train to be a Unity teacher. Was that a kind of an overnight thing, or was it somebody encouraged you to say, look, you could teach these principles?
No, I think I just probably decided. I can't really fully think. I think I just sort of fell into it. That was basically, and I did help at London Unity. I did that, and
I know you gave talk because you were my first introduction to.
Yes. I remember to this day when we met.
It was at Euston, wasn't it?
Yes.
And I'd worked at Birkbeck in Unity.
That's right. I remember you walking in, actually.
Yeah.
I remember you coming
you were
in.
talking about thought. And I was, oh yeah. And that was wonderful.
Yes, and before that we met at a hotel. So I've known you a long time.
Yeah. Well, it's over 10 years now, Pat.
Absolutely.
10 wonderful years.
Yes.
But I was thinking about, when did you decide, that you knew enough to think, well, I want to teach these principles, I want to carry this,
I can't remember thinking that. Ralph said he was running a class, and so there were a few of us said, we'll join. That's really how it came about. And then it went on from there. And then I helped a lot in the office.
Yeah.
And they brought out the Metaphysical Bible, and because Ralph was brilliant at selling the Metaphysical Bible, and his wife used to help.
Yeah.
And that's how it sort of.
So how did you get involved then because Wednesday in Maidenhead was Education Day, wasn't it? It was you, Glenys, and Doreen. You were of the centre of this foundation of the education.
Yes, well, with having teaching as a career, and when I went, Anne was there. She was there before I was there.
Oh, was she?
Maidenhead,
Okay.
yes. And she'd starting this new system for education. And Glenys was there because she was living in Maidenhead.
That's right.
And I think they said, would you like to join, Pat? And I said, I'd love it. So that's how it all started, the education system. And we used to have meetings on a Wednesday about it. And we each did a certain sections of marking, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And from then onwards, I've always done the correspondence course.
And you acted as kind of...
And then I've worked in Silent Unity.
Yeah, that's right. And
I've done that.
Yeah.
And then we had a class in the Wednesday afternoon.
That's right.
And Doreen used to run it. And then there was Pauline afterwards. She did it as well. And
was that Reverend Pauline?
Yes,
What was
Piper.
That?
She did it. And those afternoons were really instructive.
Yeah.
They were lovely. We just discussed things, or sometimes we had a book, but more or less we discussed things.
Yeah.
And it was the way of living, and really understanding why we were really on earth.
Yeah.
I mean, what we were here to do, because we're all here to do something. The library was good.
Yeah.
The books were good. And so there was always activity going on.
There was always traffic in and out, wasn't there?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was very good. And it's something
Yeah.
within his teaching. And I know when I was at college, we were always told, you must be worthy of your vocation.
Yeah.
And we were taught that in the early days,
It's a lovely phrase.
that it is a vocation.
Yeah.
And a lot of jobs, though, are vocations, but people do not realise it.
It's very interesting, isn't it, Pat, how our lives change. And
Well, we've got to accept change. If we don't, we can't grow.
No, absolutely.
We can't live in the past, we can't live in the future, we must live in the now.
Yeah.
And that's very important.
And I think that is a key, I think for me that is a key element of Unity, is learning that, you know, what happened yesterday and what might happen tomorrow will only have an impact on what you're doing now if you allow it, you know, and that...
We're building our consciousness.
Yeah.
And that's what's the most important thing, is building our consciousness. Knowing that we've got to do things from the point of view of understanding. Understanding is a very important word. And you see, we don't always understand things.
No.
But we've got to learn to know another person's point of view. These things are so important. And there's always a time when what we know to be truth, there's always a time when we're able to use it.
Yeah. Tell me, Pat, having said that now, tell me who you feel some of your influences were in your early days in Unity, or...
Well, my mother was an influence. She was the main influence, obviously, and she followed it out. We had a conference in Birmingham, and of course we met the main people there, Freeman, James Stewart Freeman, and as you know, they have there's a bracelet now with his words on, "The light of God surrounds you," because of course it went to the moon, and Ponder and Ponder, and then of course there's David Devonport.
Yeah.
And of course, when I lived in St Anne's, I always went at Easter in April to the Unity retreat.
Yeah.
So I've been to a lot of the retreats and helped with the retreats.
Yes.
So that's another. So all various people really have touched your life. You're not always aware at the time, but then it obviously comes to the front. And I was really pleased the other week because somebody said, it was at church actually, and said, she told me her life, her life story in one sense, and she was really distressed. And I can't remember what I said to her, but I said something. And then about a fortnight ago I had an email saying, "I have told people that you have really helped me." And I thought, well, that's what I've learnt, and I've passed it on to other people.
Yeah.